All right, so picture this. You finally made it to Milan.
The fashion capital of the world.
Exactly. But now you're thinking,
Wait, how do I actually get around this city?
it could feel overwhelming, right? I mean,
Milan is huge.
luckily for us, Love to Visit Italy is here to help with her latest newsletter, all about navigating Milan like a local.
And the title really hooked me.
How to get around Milan easily, just like a local.
Who doesn't want to blend in and experience the city like a true insider?
Exactly. Plus, the newsletter has some really cool insights that go way beyond just the usual tourist maps.
Like how walkable Milan actually is.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too.
Especially if you're sticking to the main attractions.
Which makes sense when you think about it. Milan's like this giant open-air museum.
Totally. You can wander from the Duomo.
Do the Gallery of Vittorio Emanuele II and just soaking it all in.
And of course, grabbing some delicious gelato along the way.
Okay, but before we get too distracted by gelato,
Huh?
can we talk about the scooters?
The scoot.
Yeah. The newsletter even had a picture of these monopattini, that's what they call scooters, in Italian, parked near the Castello Sforzesco.
Oh, the Sports Castle, right.
Yep, apparently they're everywhere in Milan.
Which makes sense when you consider how focused the city is on sustainability.
So these scooters are like the perfect blend of practicality and eco-consciousness.
Exactly. It's really interesting to see how a city like Milan is embracing these alternative modes of transportation.
It makes you wonder if this trend will catch on in other cities around the world.
For sure. I mean, imagine if more cities started prioritizing pedestrian-friendly zones and reducing their reliance on cars.
It's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
One change leads to another, and suddenly the whole urban landscape is transformed.
Totally. But okay, let's get back to the practicalities of getting around Milan. What does the newsletter say about public transport?
Well, it highlights how extensive and easy to navigate the public transport network is.
So we're talking buses
All right.
and a comprehensive metro system that connects all corners of the city.
So whether you're heading to that trendy Navigli district
For aperitivo.
or exploring the outskirts, the newsletter assures us that public transport has got you covered.
It does sound pretty efficient.
Speaking of Navigli, what exactly is that? The newsletter kind of mentions it in passing, but I'm curious to learn more.
Oh, it's a charming area known for its canals. Navili actually means canals in Italian, and it's a popular spot for both locals and tourists.
So like a little Venice?
Kind of. You can find everything from art galleries and vintage shops to bustling bars and restaurants along the waterways.
That sounds like a must visit. So we've got walking scooters and public transport. That's already a pretty impressive array of options for getting around.
Right. Milan seems like a city that truly caters to all types of travelers.
And the best part is the newsletter doesn't stop there. It delves into other fascinating aspects of Milan, like its diverse culinary scene.
Oh, yeah. Like the part about schnitzel in Milan.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I always associate schnitzel with Germany or Austria, not Italy.
Me too. But the newsletter points out that it's actually quite popular in Milan, and it even poses the question.
Is it really good everywhere?
Uh-huh. Exactly.
I love that they're asking the tough questions.
It's fascinating to see how Milan's culinary landscape extends beyond traditional Italian fare. It speaks to the city's cosmopolitan nature and its willingness to embrace influences from other cultures.
Absolutely. It's like this hidden culinary scene waiting to be explored.
Speaking of hidden gems, the newsletter also mentions an island near Sardinia called Isola di San Pietro. Have you ever heard of it?
Isola di San Pietro. It doesn't ring a bell. Tell me more.
Well, the newsletter describes it as a lesser-known destination even among Italians, which immediately piques my interest.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Apparently, it's known for its pristine beaches, crystal-clear waters, and delicious seafood.
It sounds like the perfect off-the-beaten-path escape.
It definitely is, and it makes you realize that there's so much more to Italy than just the big-name cities.
There are countless hidden gems just waiting to be discovered.
Exactly, and that's what makes travel so exciting.
So let's talk about these hidden gems. What else did you find in the newsletter?
Well, there was this one part that really caught my eye about Milan's efforts to promote sustainable transportation.
You mean like the scooters?
Yes, they're not just a trendy way to get around. They represent a larger shift towards eco-conscious urban planning.
It makes you wonder how these trends might shape the future of cities around the world.
For sure. Will we see fewer cars on the road? More pedestrian-friendly zones?
It's like a ripple effect. One small change can lead to a cascade of transformations.
And it all starts with a simple question. How do we get around?
Well, in Milan, it seems like the answer is with style, ease, and a touch of sustainability.
I love that. So we've covered the basics of getting around Milan, from walking and public transport to the rise of trendy scooters.
But there's so much more to uncover in this newsletter.
Absolutely. It seems like we've only just scratched the surface of what Love to Visit Italy has to offer.
Well, then let's not waste any more time.
Uh,
We've got a deep dive to continue.
it's amazing how one little newsletter about getting around Milan can open up all these possibilities.
Right. Like suddenly I'm adding Isola di San Pietro to my travel bucket list.
Me too. I mean, even Italians haven't heard of it.
It really is like a hidden paradise.
Exactly. Pristine beaches, crystal clear waters, incredible seafood.
Okay, you've convinced me I'm booking a flight.
Haha! Well, hold on before you do that.
Okay, what else is there?
Well, remember that part about schnitzel in Milan?
Oh, yeah. That was a curveball.
Right. Like, what's German schnitzel doing in Italy?
It just seems so out of place.
But the newsletter actually suggests that it's pretty popular there.
Maybe there's a whole secret schnitzel scene in Milan that we don't know about.
Maybe. We'll have to
Oh,
investigate.
seriously. It's a good reminder that there's always something new to discover, even in places we think we know.
Exactly. And that's what makes travel so exciting.
Speaking of exciting discoveries, did you read about that potential bridge connecting Sicily to the mainland?
Oh, yeah. That's a wild idea.
Can you imagine driving from Rome to Palermo without having to take a ferry?
It would be a game changer.
But it also makes you think about the logistics.
Building a bridge that long over water? That's a massive undertaking.
Not to mention the potential environmental impact.
Right. A structure that massive would definitely have some consequences.
It'll be interesting to see how they balance the benefits with the risks.
Definitely. But hey, maybe they'll find a way to make it sustainable.
You never know. We are living in an age of incredible innovation.
That's true. So on a slightly less ambitious scale,
Huh?
what did you think about the part on volcanic wines?
Okay, I have to admit, I don't know much about those.
Well, imagine this. You're on the slopes of Mount Etna.
One of the most active volcanoes in the world.
Exactly. And you're sipping a glass of wine made from grapes grown in that volcanic soil.
Okay, now that sounds like an experience.
Right. And the unique soil conditions actually give the wines a distinct flavor.
So it's like the terroir, the land itself is shaping the taste.
Exactly. And the newsletter highlights this one winemaker, Marco de Grazia, who was one of the first to see the potential of Etna as a wine region.
It's funny how sometimes the most unexpected places can produce incredible things.
It really is. But speaking of unexpected places, have you ever heard of Umbria?
Umbria, isn't that somewhere in central Italy?
Yeah. The newsletter calls it the green heart of Italy.
Okay, that sounds idyllic.
It is. Think rolling hills vineyards, olive groves, charming villages.
Like something out of a movie.
Totally. And the newsletter recommends visiting Perugia.
Perugia.
Yeah, it's a historic city known for its art scene and the annual Umbria Jazz Festival.
Wow, a jazz festival in a medieval Italian city. That's amazing.
I know, right? It sounds incredible.
So Umbria has beautiful landscapes, history, art, and even a jazz festival. What more could you ask for?
Well, it also has a spiritual side.
Hmm.
The newsletter mentions Assisi.
Assisi.
Yeah, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the birthplace of St. Francis.
Oh, wow, I've heard of that.
It's home to the Basilica of St. Francis, which is filled with incredible frescoes and has a lot of religious significance.
So it's a place for both exploration and reflection.
Exactly. It just goes to show that Italy offers so much more than just the big cities.
There are hidden gems everywhere just waiting to be discovered.
And that's what makes travel so rewarding.
I know. I'm starting to feel like I need to plan a much longer trip.
Me too.
Yeah.
And we haven't even talked about the food yet.
Oh, yeah. What about that Nana's recipe?
Oh, you're going to love this one. It's for lasagna.
So this Nana, she just shares her lasagna recipe with the world.
Well, not exactly. It's part of this project called Pasta Grannies.
Pasta grannies.
Yeah, they travel around Italy recording these nanas making their traditional recipes.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's all about preserving those authentic Italian flavors and techniques, you know?
Like culinary time capsule.
Exactly. It's like getting a cooking lesson straight from a nana's kitchen.
I can practically smell the delicious aromas now.
Right. And it's more than just the recipe. It's about the love, the tradition, the connection to family.
It's about keeping those memories alive.
Exactly. Food is more than just sustenance. It's a story.
It's a celebration of life.
Beautifully said. It makes you realize how much we've actually learned from this newsletter.
Right. We started with just trying to figure out how to get around Milan.
And now we're planning trips to hidden islands and dreaming of volcanic wines.
And learning about lasagna from a Nana.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has. I think the biggest takeaway for me is that Italy is so much more than just the tourist attractions.
It's about going beyond the surface and immersing yourself in the real Italy.
It's discovering those hidden gems, those unexpected moments.
And that's what makes travel so special, right?
Absolutely. It's about those unique experiences, those memories that you'll carry with you forever.
So to anyone out there who's thinking about visiting Italy,
Don't be afraid to venture off the beaten path.
embrace the unexpected.
And most importantly, savor every moment.
Who knows, you might just find your own hidden gem.
One that captures your heart and leaves you wanting to come back for more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well said. All right, folks, that's a wrap for this week's deep dive into Love to Visit Italy.
We hope you enjoyed the ride. Until next time, ciao.